Hey, this is Kevin Hockett, and thanks for checking out my Drum Basics video series. In this first episode, we're going to be covering grip, specifically the matched grip, as well as going over some fundamental topics like the fulcrum and rebound. Exciting stuff. Stick around. Before we dive into details, there are two things that we need to keep in mind. Number one, that our grip needs to be relaxed. Number two, that our grip needs to feel natural. Having a relaxed grip means that we're not trying to force things to happen. We're not squeezing the drumstick, but we're still holding on to it enough that it's not flying out of our hands. A natural grip means that we're thinking of the sticks as an extension of our arm. So, because everyone is unique, everyone's grip is going to look slightly differently. Everyone's going to have a different size hand, different length fingers, different length of their arm. So, having a natural grip means finding a grip that works best for you. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and actually set up the grip now. To start, relax your arms by your side. Shake them out, keep them loose. Raise your arms up from the elbow, 90 degrees. Now, your hand and finger position might look a little different from mine, and that's okay. Like I said, everybody's grip is going to be unique. But as you do that, as you bring this up and you keep it relaxed, this is the basic shape of the grip that you want to have. If you hold your hand just like you brought it up and you put a drumstick in it, this is very close to just being the matched grip. So once we have the sticks in our hands, the first thing we need to make sure we set is the fulcrum. So the fulcrum is the point on the drumstick where your thumb and your pointer finger come together. So on my hand, my thumb and my pointer finger come together really on the first knuckle. So find out where your thumb and pointer finger come together, and that's where you're going to set the fulcrum, or the pivot point of your drumstick. Okay, so the fulcrum just means where the stick is going to be pivoting in your hand. Okay, it's the primary point of contact that you have with the drumstick. So it's the most important thing you can set. But where do we set the fulcrum? So the fulcrum should be approximately 1/3 of the way from the bottom of the stick. Okay, so if we imagine dividing the stick into thirds like this, that bottom third is right where your fulcrum should be. So why do we hold the fulcrum at the bottom third of the drumstick? Well, it has to do with a really important concept that we call rebound. So rebound is essentially just how much bounce we get back from the stick after we hit something. Rather than us having to do all the work of throwing the stick down and then lifting it back up, the stick does a lot of that work for us. It rebounds back. So let's experiment with rebound right now. If we hold the stick in our fulcrum and we just drop it onto a pad or the floor or a drum or whatever you have around you, hold it in our fulcrum and just let it fall. We get a lot of bounce out of that. Now let's say that we change our fulcrum so that we hold the stick right on the bottom. Let's see what happens. Not much. Okay, so what if we hold the drumstick right in the middle? We try the same thing. Well, that's not really working either. So why do we hold it in this kind of bottom middle-ish part? Well, if we think about a seesaw, right, or a teeter-totter, we can think of the fulcrum point as being right in the center, right? So both people on either end kind of going up and down like this. We want the weight to be even. On a drumstick, That doesn't work. So if we have our fulcrum too high, there's not enough weight on this side really to do much. If we have our fulcrum too low, well, now this is way too much weight to try to bounce back. So we take some of that weight off, raise our fulcrum up a little bit, and then we get a lot of rebound. So now that we have an idea of how our fulcrum works and where it should be, the rest of the grip is really simple. Start with the fulcrum, wrap the rest of your fingers around. The rest of your fingers are what is going to provide you control and support while you're playing. Trying to play with just the fulcrum, your stick's going to be flying all over the place. The fingers give you that control and that support. More advanced techniques later on will kind of have you specifically using the fingers to move the drumsticks. But for now, we don't have to worry about that. With a little practice, setting the grip will just become second nature. Finding your fulcrum will be as simple as just feeling if something's not quite right. So what I would recommend is that when you're first starting off, practice that fulcrum exercise before you start playing. Try it in different parts of the stick. The idea is that you want to learn where the best natural rebound is from the drumstick. The more you do that, the more you train your hand to be able to feel it naturally and automatically. So that about wraps it up for this video. Thanks for watching. Check out the next video. We're going to be talking more about grip styles. Thanks again.